This past week in New York City, we saw some really crazy things happen. We saw the protest and the counter protest, and then we saw the 18 and 19-year-old dudes throw the bombs that didn't explode. A straight terrorist attack. We all saw that, yes?
Terrorist attack with a modern twist. In other words, he didn't figure out how to make the bomb.
Right. Well, this is the kind of the meme that came from this, where we had this guy who was a comedian says liberal white people will literally tell you to stop being Islamophobic while Muslims launch bombs over their head. We're dealing with the dumbest people ever to exist.
Yeah.
This was this quote unquote comedian here with this right here. Let's go and see how this went.
You don't live in New York. You're coming to New York to tell people who belongs in New York and who doesn't belong in New York. We were born and raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
That is absolute poetry in motion right there.
All right.
It sounds like Ghostbusters when all the ghosts are whizzing around screaming.
We want everyone to stay in New York. Mad Islamophile leaping over his head with a bomb. Like, perfect.
Well, have you seen the anime?
Absolutely perfect.
Have you seen the anime made of it?
No,
No.
please do.
Here we go.
私たちはニューヨークで生まれ育ちました。そしている皆さん、ここにいる皆さんにはニューヨークに残ってほしいのです。私はアイセスに忠誠を誓う。アラフアクバル。
これらの卑劣な行為の原因は明らかです。白人至上主義です。
Correct. Correct. The reason for this is clear because, and I've seen this be argued, by the way, that they're like, listen, they were protesting evil right wingers. That Muslim was just defending himself with his bomb.
This is right. Well, this comedian over here. Remember this guy right here who he was the guy who got jumped over here, and he was telling everybody, "Hey, we want everybody to be here." Well, he got just totally dogged on, right? And he has now released a statement about this. He says, "Hey, everyone, I can admit when I was wrong. Being reckless when a bomb is thrown over your head is not a good look, and that weighs heavily on me and my family over here." Okay?
It should weigh heavily on your fucking politics.
Well, yeah. So let's see what he had to say here, because he has a 2-minute video, and it's very enlightening.
You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
That's me in the video getting a bomb thrown over my head. Let me just give you some context for what was happening. So this was at a rally hosted by white supremacist Jake Lang.
Of course he is.
Okay.
Aren't they all?
Notice how he just throws this out there like it's nothing.
For what was happening. So this was at a rally hosted by white supremacist Jake Lang.
Yes.
By the
And
way,
as we've already said, white supremacist simply means white person. That's all.
And immediately,
Lang. He's a domestic terrorist.
so in the span of 3 seconds, he was called a white supremacist and a domestic terrorist over here.
Well, yeah, because that's how they view it. Like, okay, I recently did a deep dive into a left-wing favorite series on this, which lays out a lot of this. And literally, yes, their argument is if you're a white supremacist, which means you are white in America, you should be treated as a domestic terrorist. That is how they justify the oppression of you. You're a terrorist.
Let's just also be clear here. Let's even say he was a white supremacist, all those things. Let's just say, let's give him that. Well, what that white supremacist was doing was just basically dancing around like an idiot in the middle of the street, causing no harm to anyone, when an actual terrorist threw a bomb into a crowded area. So, like, I love that this is someone who said that they grew up in New York. Fuck this asshole, by the way. He grew up there, so he experienced 9/11, and what he's doing right now is going out of his way. He's trying to find any way to actually defend that just happened. These people are fucking cancer. They are cancer.
Well, let's see how he's going to justify this. Or maybe, he did realize he made a mistake, right? So maybe in the next 2 minutes, we'll see what he has to say.
from January 6th, pardoned by Donald Trump. He was holding an anti-Muslim rally when this guy jumped over me and committed an act of terrorism. That sounds confusing. Let me start over. So Jake Lang was holding the
That
rally.
does sound
He's
confusing.
It's odd here.
known for three things: being a domestic terrorist from January 6th, pardoned by Donald Trump, losing to the letter S, and as we found out today, grooming 15-year-old girls. Jake
I don't know anything about that. I know that he kicked over the prosecute ICE thing here, but we'll continue.
holding this rally saying things like this.
America is a white Christian country.
If you're saying America is for white Christian men, you're a white supremacist. Now, I really want to be clear that I made a huge mistake in not taking cover after this explosive device.
Hold on real quick. I just want to make sure.
That's not what the guy said.
That's
though.
not what he said at all. Yeah. He said, hold on.
This.
America is a white Christian country.
If you're saying America is for white Christian men,
Which
He didn't say for white.
He didn't say. He didn't say that. Yeah.
you're a white supremacist. Now, I really want to be clear that I made a huge mistake in not taking cover after this explosive device was thrown. If you're at a public event and someone throws what looks like an explosive device, you're not a wimp for taking cover. We were counter-protesting.
I'm just going to be honest. At no point during this did I not think this guy was a giant fucking pussy. Like, this guy is a wimp over here. I'm just going to tell you this right now. Whether he ran for cover or not, this guy is a giant fucking pussy. Sorry.
Making Jake Lang look like the idiot that he is. When these two idiots came along and committed an act of terrorism, they could not have done more to legitimize Jake Lang's white supremacist talking points. They literally threw the bomb over my head while I was talking about inclusion. The CIA
And could that be a hint of some sort?
Well,
Could that be an indicator, perhaps, of some form of reality? Okay, so there you are. Like, this man has no point whatsoever. Allahu Akbar!
Arch, don't you know?
Live in the real world.
Don't you know, Arch, that they threw the bomb? It was Jake Lang's fault that the guys threw the bomb. Don't you get it?
It is.
Yes. Here we go.
my head while I was talking about inclusion. The CIA should definitely be paying them at this point. I just want to reiterate that I was not practicing safety that day. I could have been killed, and that weighs very heavy on both me and my family. And all that
By who? By who could you have been killed, sir? Was it the white supremacists, sir?
He was just hanging out over there, yelling stupid stuff, yelling. And, well, I think only one side was throwing bombs, right? I believe that's how it went, right?
being said, I'm not going to use this as an excuse to be a xenophobic bigot. Elon Musk and all of right-wing...
Good for you, Tiger.
Of course not. Why would you use a terrorist attack by a man screaming Allahu Akbar as an excuse to change your point of view? You're a zealot.
Literally jumped over him as he, it's amazing. I will not believe my own eyes with what I'm seeing right here. It's fascinating.
How much time? I love to do the math. How much time was dedicated to Lang, right, who literally did nothing that day, versus the people that threw a bomb into a crowded that he himself admitted may have hurt him as well? How much time was designated to that group? 10 seconds maximum?
That being said, I'm not going to use this as an excuse to be a xenophobic bigot. Elon Musk and all of right-wing media are having a field day right now because I am choosing inclusion and not bigotry.
Despite a bomb literally being thrown over his head. Oh, wow.
I still stand by my original point, which is I'm a native New Yorker. I was born and raised in New York. New York City is for everyone.
We reject you, asshole.
We should find this guy. Be like, hey, we don't want you here, dummy.
Who throw bombs and goat fucking white supremacists like Jake Lang.
So there you go. There's his mic drop right there at the end. He's getting destroyed here in this comments. donut operator. You have the survival instincts of a potato over here. Viva Frey Kevin says, holy hell, you're such an idiot. You can literally have gotten your face blown off with shrapnel by the terrorists you're protesting with, and you would look in the mirror at your mutilated visage and say to yourself, at least I wasn't a xenophobe over here.
Yes.
This person,
Like literally.
And he's a comedian, I think, right?
Yes. In quotations, this person nails it.
The only fucking thing funny about that guy would be his eulogy. I can't imagine anything coming out of this guy's mouth that's funny.
You are the weak man who creates hard times. That's right there. Nails it right there. If that doesn't tell you, like when a guy literally jumps off your shoulder to throw a bomb.
Like the beauty of this is a perfect metaphor for what's happening. The terrorist is using him as a springboard to launch his terrorist attacks.
That's a really interesting analogy right there. What a metaphor right there. That's crazy.
I'm going to tweet that out. That is actually a very smart observation because it's fucking real on so many levels.
Now, like, and I want to just like if this was, let's say, a protest, or let's say it was we want transgendered kids to be a thing, and then God forbid some asshole threw a bomb, we would be very angry at the guy that threw the bomb. We would put politics aside for that minute and go like, my dude, you're crossing lines now. Like, and we would be talking about that. It's amazing that they want to just do everything that was PR for the terrorists. There was no way you could say it otherwise. That's PR for them, because it's also then saying like, yeah, no, look, okay, there was one bad apple, but that's not going to change who I am, and I still stand with it. It is so. Where are the men? What happened to masculinity? I'm gonna rant now. I got to stop.
Well. You remember how he was talking about how that guy was Jake Lang was a J6 terrorist? That's the word he used.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, let's rewind here to January 6th. Remember that time criminal asshole Walter Masterson disguised himself as a Donald Trump supporter to go undercover and sow chaos at January 6th? He was literally there.
Getting his disguise on.
Okay, so
How is he now?
I'm wearing a mask underneath the mask.
Just for a little extra protection, because this very well may be a super spreader kind of thing.
You should
Just that alone, my God.
wear this.
Oh God.
Here, this is your mask.
Oh my God, the America mask. I might take this America beanie too, because this Trump 2020 hat, hard to stomach. I might wear it backwards, so I don't have to be too heavy.
Dude, I'm not fucking with you. You gotta blend in. I'm absolutely not kidding. You need to have an identifier. They won't trust you unless there's a visual, like there's something visual.
What do we
Better
think?
not
folks?
talk.
Do we
There's a
trust-
giveaway.
Right. Once again, he was literally there. He is just as bad as anybody. You know, if you're going to start throwing out the word terrorist, like he literally went there to sow division. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. Like, and the idea of masquerading, you know, I'm a comedian. Oh, that's fun. Fuck off, man. It's insane. This is the peak example of someone who is in a cult going out of their way. And you can literally have somebody throw a bomb over your head and still side with them. Wow.
And I would never, and this is a guy you can tell would wish death on his enemies. I've had many enemies, and I would only wish them a good, fulfilling life. I don't want any harm to go in them. We just want to argue ideas, not violence. And this group, they can't, not only now are they violent, but they're also now defending violence, which is hysterical to me.
Yep. Wow. Well, Elon Musk has a very simple thought on this when it comes to this. This is a quote tweet about this. He calls out Elon Musk saying he's choosing inclusion and not bigotry. Elon Musk says prison for attempted murderers, enablers like this clown right here. Oh man, that'd be what a fucking God. I want to punch this guy in the face. Unbelievable.
Very punchable face, yeah.
Very punchable face. All right, man. Any closing thoughts on fuckface over here?
I mean, it just proves yet again for the umpteenth time that you cannot change these people's mind. They have been indoctrinated, literally indoctrinated. Again, all of the jokes you can make, like lying there on the ground, shrapnel in your stomach, at least I wasn't a bigot, they're not jokes. It's actually, It's actually real. That's actually how they view the world.